Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today, as promised, we're going to put the new OP7 rock lights in the truck. But before we get started, if you're not already, go follow me over on Instagram at Austin04_Z71. I post up any shows I'm going to be at or modifications that are coming to the truck. They see it first. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So joining us today is my buddy Justin, and he's actually getting ready to start a YouTube channel. And I guess when he does, I'll definitely shout him out. But he's going to help me put the new OP7 rock lights in. And I showed you guys in the last video, but here they are. And they are so much better than the old design. Let me get the, because I've already ripped the old ones out. So there's, well, there's the old ones, there's the new ones. And it's sweet because it's got this angle, so when it's up in there, it's going to light up both sides of the fender well, and they're RGB so it's also got white. These are just RGB. You can see the 3 little LEDs in there. So I'm really excited to do this, and it should be a whole lot brighter, a lot better than those. And of course, it comes with all the harness, the remotes, and all that good stuff. So you've got a couple options you can do with this. If you see they supply you with double-sided tape, well, that's not really going to work for us just because of where all it's got to go. So I've always, you see the 2 holes right there, I've always drilled, and they're tiny little holes, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to drill and mount it, hard mount it up in there. And the same thing in the front, except the front we get lucky because it's just plastic, so we just screw into the plastic. And then you can see the old wire right there running down, so it's already got the hole cut to run the wire up. So that's a big benefit, is this has already been done before, so we get to skip all that process. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drill the holes for this in the back, get them mounted, and I'll pick back up the camera once we get to that point. All right, so if you see here, what we did is we set the rock light up here and marked it, so that way we knew where to drill, and we're going to drill down, and that way when we put it up in there, it lines up perfect. So I hate, some people hate drilling into it, but it's really not a big deal back here because you don't really see it. You can grind the stud down and you'll never notice, but Justin's going to go ahead and drill that out for us. All right, guys, so we just got one in. It was like 3 minutes is all it took because there's 2 of us. So that one's in there, both the bolts in there drilled. I'm going to do it on the other side, and you see the wire right here will eventually be run just like this old one is right here and down and under the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and mount up the other side and then run the wire and try to find a place for the box. So once I do that, I'll pick back up the camera, show you where I decided to put the box, and we'll see if the rear ones work. Then we'll work on the front. So we're having a great learning moment here on the Bowtie Guy 97 channel. Forever I've always wired them straight to the battery. Well, this time OP7 sends the little fuse things that you can plug into the fuse and all that. So we want to do it that way, but you got to find 2 that are constant power, so we're trying to figure out which ones are. But the rear lights are wired up, and let me tell you, and this is something I really appreciate with this. It takes 2 sets of wires to reach under the hood when you take the rear lights on this truck. All the other kits I've had in the past come with 4 of these. That's all you get. So the boxes had to be under the truck just so the wires would fit. Well, OP7 knows that people are putting these on trucks, so they send 6 wire extensions. So the 2, of course, you only need 2, 1 for each on the front because you'll be able to reach it, and they give you 2 per side for the back, so the back wheel lights will reach the front. So big shout out to OP7 for doing that, because that's the first set I've had that actually was able to do that. So super glad that they did that. But once we figure out which one of these is constant power and get it to run, then we'll, we've already tested them, they come on, all 4 of them work. So once we get that, then I'll hook up the front 2, and then that'll really be it. But while Justin's trying to figure that, I can show you guys how this is run. So you see here, this is the wire. It runs up, so that way you don't see it. I got to cut the ends off the zip ties, I know. It runs through right here where the e-brake bracket is, and it actually from here starts following the harness. And I literally follow the wiring harness all the way up to the front. And the same goes for the other side. What I do is I come under the truck, and there's a tubular cross member. You can come across that, but this time I actually did it on the cross member for the torsion bars, ran the wire along that, and then met up with the harness, and it runs down the harness just like this one does. So that way it's all tucked up in there. There's already clips you can slide it in. Works out great. So like I said, once we figure this out, we'll test it and see. All right, so we got them both wired up in here into the fuse, and we have them in the cigarette lighter and the stop lamp.
Yeah, third brake light.
Third brake light. So, and that gives us constant power. So, you know, you got to make sure to turn them off when you're not, you know, you don't want them on. So this is really cool. So this right here controls the white. So up here, you see we've got the blue on, and we can go to, you know, red, green, any colors of the rainbow. Now, you see I've got it set on white. Like, it's like a super bright white. So you've got RGB white, so it tries to take all the colors and make a white, and you can turn on the white. But I can turn off the RGB white and just go with straight white. And that's awesome. They're going to be super bright. I'm excited to try this out here when it gets dark. Let's see, I gotta turn color on, that off to do color cycle. Yeah, this is a lot. These things do a lot. It's gonna take a lot of learning. So let me turn that off. Let me get the fronts wired up here, and once I get that done, I'll show you guys how I, you know, cleaned it all up and ran the two fronts and all of that. All right, guys, so just got everything wired up. They're working. So what the deal is, we tapped into those two fuses. Right here's the box. Now what I'm gonna do is, and it's kind of a mess right here right now because this is the light bar harness, but the light bar is not in there because of just making sure the transmission was going to stay cool with the new engine setup. So it's kind of tucked right here, and so the wires to the rock lights are tucked right now too, because I can't neaten it up much more until I figure out what to do about the light bar. But this box is going to chill here under the hood. Actually, I'm thinking about double side taping it about right there. Maybe tuck the wires a little bit neater right there on the fuse box. So that's how we ran it. The one to the other wheel actually runs, you can't even see it, but it runs down underneath the radiator shroud, around here, down the corner, and hooks in right there where I drilled through. Now, one thing to note, Op7 doesn't send bolts to mount it. They send screws, but not bolts, which work on the plastic, but not the rear. I actually had to reuse the little bolts that came with the old kit. So if you want to bolt it up like this, you're going to have to get little tiny, you know, bolts or whatever to do it. Or you can just use the double-sided tape that is provided right here. So that's your call, but it's all wired up, all done. Every single one of them works, and I mean, it's still daylight out here, plenty of light, and you can tell they're on, especially up here in the front, just there's a little bit of cover. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wait for it to get a little bit darker, like I did last year when I put another set of these in, and then I'll come out here and give you guys the whole big light tour and all that. But I wanted to say, we're talking about Justin starting the new channel, and in the upcoming video, well, I'll tell you his channel name, but he's got it's a 2016 GTCS. You know, CTCS stands for the California Special, but this one's not just the regular old 5.0. It does have a stage 2 Roush supercharger on it, so it's an extremely fast car, and I'm sure he's going to make really cool videos about it. So I'll be letting you guys know once he gets that channel started, and so you guys can go and check him out. But like I said, I'll pick back up the camera once the sun sets and it gets a little bit darker out here, so I can show you guys those lights. Alrighty, guys, and that is what they look like at night, and they are, and that's just on the white setting, and hopefully the camera's picking it up. I'm standing in front of the truck, and look at how much light is scattered both forward and back and to the sides. You know, you see it's impressive. Of course, you got the massive shadow from the tire, but I mean, everything up underneath it there is lit up. You can see, definitely better hope your frame and everything looks pretty good with these lights, because it's definitely going to show them off. But they are super bright. Let me see here. So what's interesting is if you turn the white off, look, it kind of goes to this RG. Well, actually, the camera's picking it up as a different color, and it really is. It's still pretty white, which you can turn just the white on and turn the RGB off, and that's when you get just pure white. But I like to roll with it with both of them on because it's brighter. But what I'll do is I'll turn the white off and go to the color mode here. So there's your red, green, blue, and then, you know, you can go through all these different colors of the rainbow. Let's see, they got the color cycle. What is this? This one's the fade, and I guess it's just kind of like a show mode. It kind of goes through all all the different. It's got to the music. It's got strobe. I think you have to speed that up. Okay, I see. It just kind of strobes through all the colors real slowly. So, I mean, it's got a ton of features, and I mean, and the lights are great. You know, it's super, super bright on the white. You know, that's mainly why I got them, was just for the white setting. It's cool that they have the colors, but I'm not really too interested in the colors. I may do it sometimes, but I'm definitely bought it for the lights. Oh, there you go. You can adjust the speed right there, quick and slow. I was trying to do it with these up here. It didn't work. So there you go, guys. Like I said, I'm going to drop the link to the kit down below. But that's awesome. I love them. I definitely love them because they look great. And I'm sure, you know, I can't drive with them on the road here, which sucks. But in other states like the Carolinas, I can. But I can park. So anytime I go to a show or I'm parked or whatever, you can bet I'm going to have these lights on. So I appreciate you guys watching. Drop any comments you got down below. Check out these lights over there on Op7's website. Thanks again for watching. You can also go follow me over on Instagram at Austin04_Z71. Hit me up in the DMs there if you got any questions. I usually see those before I see comments. Take care. Have a great day.